Hey guys, Deers23 here again, aka the old guy. And in this video we are taking a look at Gran Turismo Sport. This is going to be the RS01 GT316. This is a Renault. And this is, this is a Group 3 car. I think I said that already. But this is one that you can get for 450,000 credits. In the last video we reviewed the RS0116 Group X car, which you can get for 500,000 credits. So, between these two vehicles for just a shade under 1 million credits, you do get two very nice race cars. So we're going to go and give this car a test drive and back out of all of these screens here. And I think what we'll do is go into the arcade. We'll do a time trial. I think we're going to take this one to Interlagos just because I do a lot of testing at Dragon Trail, and I haven't tested this one out at Interlagos yet. So we'll just do it at Sunrise. You can see I have painted the car. Just a very simple paint job with the Monster Energy logo, and a couple of stripes on the side, and a fade paint job from the top to the bottom and front to back there. So we got the matte black, and I think that might be the fluorescent green. Can't remember now. Looks like fluorescent green to me. But anyway, now if I remember correctly, the only thing that I might have changed on this car was the tires, and I usually drop the weight and the power ratios. I usually jack that up as well too. But for this one, you can upgrade the weight reduction and the power levels if you want. I leave the traction control at 3 just because, again, I use the DualShock controller. I don't have a steering wheel as of yet. I do throw on the super softs just because it gives more stability for testing. And I haven't changed any of the brake balance or any of the suspension ratios or anything like that in this car. Haven't changed any of the downforce yet, the differentials or the drivetrain. And I haven't touched the transmission. I don't believe. I think I might have upgraded. Excuse me, not upgraded, but I might have changed the top speed. Can't remember what it is out of the box. But for this test, we'll just leave that as is. This is a top speed of 193, according to that. But then, you come down here to the final gear, you get the 203 for the top speed. But I don't think we're going to hit that at Interlagos in this car. So we're going to go ahead and back out. You can see I've done quite a bit of testing here with different vehicles. So, the top one with the Group 3 is, 139 with the Corvette, which is absolutely horrible, in my opinion. But we were just trying out the cars more than trying to set, world-class lap times here. But you can see with, the Porsche that I had, the Group 4 car, is actually faster than the Group 3, which is kind of weird. But anyway, gonna go ahead and hop into the car here, and you can see you can change the views on this car, which again is nice. But I think the only cars that you can't, there's a few of the race cars that you can't change the views on, and then some of the experimental cars, the Group X cars, you can't either. So we're going to stick to the cabin view here. You can see I do have the driveline on, and I went way too wide there and absolutely blew that corner. But I do have the driveline on. That is what I call the beginner line. And I do have the cone set up as well too. So I use the double cone as kind of a guideline as to where to start braking, and God, I'm just blowing these corners. And then the single cone right after that is where you lift off the brake And again, that's dependent upon the vehicle you're driving and your driving style too. And the setup of your car can affect that as well too. So I'm just absolutely blowing this first lap here. So I'm just taking a out lap here just to get acclimated to the car. I'm going to go a little wider here than what the line suggests, just try to carry more speed through that corner. Didn't carry enough there. So I haven't really opened up the car as much as I'd like to yet, just because I am not reacquainted with this vehicle as of yet. I think we'll try to push a little harder on this lap. So that's not too bad, a 135 for absolutely driving like garbage. So the car handles very nicely. Again, I do have traction control set to 3. So it accelerates very nicely. Brakes really nicely too, especially in that corner. We broke a little too much there. Car turns very well too. So there I broke a little too much, you saw, and then tried to push it back and overdrove the car there. And absolutely blew that corner. And blew that corner too, didn't do a good job. So you can see I'm braking a little too hard there, not carrying the proper speed through those corners. But we should improve our lap time anyway because we're a little bit ahead of the Ghost there. So we're going to do maybe 1 or 2 more laps here. So that lap was a lot better, but still not perfect. So I think we can probably run a sub 130 here in this vehicle if I do things correctly. You can already see I've blown the corner based on what I did before. So I'm trying to use the full width of the track as I go around here. So touching that curbing, totally blew that. You can see where, in the case of blowing one corner here, if you set up correctly on the next one, you can actually, get back on your pace. As you can see, I've already passed the Ghost a little bit. We're going to try to take this one wide and try to carry the full throttle through that corner. Carried a little bit too much there, so not perfect. Okay, the car handles very nicely. I do like the car. Again, it's pretty much straight out of the box, just touching up the weight reduction and, jacking up the power ratio too. And absolutely blew that. So you can see the car does get a little upset when you go over those curbs. So this one's going to be really bad because I blew that whole first section there. So, you can see, I'm not very consistent with the DualShock controller. So I'm going to try to touch the curbing here again just to see what happens to the car. I'm going to brake a little bit harder there. So just put 2 wheels on that particular corner. And car doesn't get too upset there. That one I did a little bit. And I totally blew that corner so that I can throw that one out. and didn't carry the proper speed there, so you can see I bobbled the car. You know, and again, without the steering wheel, it's kind of hard to get back on the track there if you do bobble. So, you know, if you bobble, what I mean is, you know, you're turning one way, and then if you don't have the proper speed, you have to let the car kind of go back to center like that. So if I'm turning and then let a car go back, you know, without the steering wheel, you don't have that precision that's kind of required in order to pull that off. At least I don't anyway. So you can see there, that section was a little bit better. I think this will be the final lap. So I'm trying to stay wide. Broke a little later there, letting the cars drift. And again, we're going to try to stay wide here. Drop down to single gear. I think not doing that corner particularly well. So, oops, took that one horribly wrong. Okay, we clipped a little bit of that apex there. So you can see right here, I didn't follow the suggested driveline there. And that's just because I like to carry a lot more speed through that corner than what the line suggests you do. You know, and as you experiment with your different drive styles, you're going to find that the suggested driveline is not always going to be the best one for you. Alright, so that was a 129, so that's not too bad. I will take that. So, yeah, as I was getting a little bit more used to the car, it does handle very well. You know, it did get a little upset on some of those touching the curb. So it did get a little upset there. But not too bad. You know, it does handle very nicely, accelerates nicely, brakes very nicely, corners pretty well too. So you can see the theoretical time would have been a 129.8. So not bad, not great. And you can see, you know, I definitely improved each section except the fourth lap there. You know, and you can see here that the third section there on the second lap was the best one by what? By about half a second. So, yeah, not too bad. You know, I did improve, but, you know, still not happy with it. So as we change different gear ratios, you know, get the downforce where we want it, change, you know, the balance of the vehicle, you know, we can definitely improve on that. But for now, I think we're just going to leave it as is. So, you know, that was the 9th fastest overall. With the Group 3, I think that's what the first. Yeah. So, you know, not a bad little vehicle. I think we'll take a look at the ranking board here for the Group 3s. So yeah, this one tops out the Group 3s by, you know, almost 10 seconds. But again, some of these I was not driving correctly. So you can see here, you know, I ran a 143, which is just absolutely horrible with that particular car. But anyway, yeah, that is the RS01 GT3 16 Group 3 Renault. Take a look at the replay maybe a little bit here. You can see how horrible the first lap is. But yeah, that's a, you know, pretty basic custom paint job I did. Just kind of goofing around with the livery editor there. Threw the Monster Energy logo on there. We'll just take a quick peek at this lap. This is the out lap here, the first lap I did. You'll see just how bad it is too. So let's see what we're really wide there. Check out the cone. The car has a great zone to it too. You can see there I didn't clip the apex like I should have and then went way wide. So carried too much speed through there and turned in wrong too. I do try to use the cones when I'm first driving a newer car and trying to learn a track. I do use the cones as a guideline as where to start braking and where to start turning in. So you'll see like the double cones, that is just a general guideline as to where to start braking. And then that first single cone is where you lift off the brake and start your turn in. That is just, kind of a beginner's guide to getting around some of these tracks. So, part of my problem is my reflexes have slowed down as the older I get. So I'm actually, applying the brake and lifting off. I'm not 100% accurate there, so you see my lap times are, inconsistent as I try to correct myself on those as well. And that's part of the reason why I don't race online a whole lot either. So you can see here, I think this is the second lap. So kind of improved a little bit on that section. So that's got a nice little sound as you're passing by the camera there. So I am trying to use the whole width of the track. Trying to clip the curbing there a little bit. Again, I'm not a top 10 driver. So I went a little wide there. Yeah, it's not a bad looking car, and it definitely handles well. It definitely has a lot of speed to it for the Group 3 car. Again, we did improve the power ratio, and we did some weight reduction on the vehicle too. But yeah, anyway, that is the Renault. So hopefully that'll help you guys out a little bit as far as making a decision if you want that car as well too. Again, just my opinion. It does handle very well. It does corner very nicely, accelerates, brakes very nicely. You can definitely paint it up if you want to. It is a little bit more difficult car to handle in the livery editor. If I remember correctly, the numbers on the side, where that number 5 is, you can change the color on that little panel there. Not sure what the proper name is, but you can change the coloring on that, but not much else. A lot of the striping that I did on the car, very minimal striping anyway, was all done with decals, as opposed to actually being able to do that within the editor on the car itself anyway. But hopefully that'll help you guys out a little bit. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Do let me know if this helps you out. If you want to see a specific car, I'll try to get that done for you. Don't have a lot of credits at the moment. Don't have a lot of mileage points either. But anyway, guys, that is the Renault Group 3 GTS 316 car. So hopefully that helps you out. Do post messages below. Let me know what you want to see. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.